So once again, I am back down here. I want to go collect my souls before I trigger the giant once again. But this time, I don't want to dual wield my swords. If I do, then I will definitely get a giant sword in my face. Now I wonder, can we actually move by him without triggering him? We can! Right, we want to take out these frogs first. Find the frogs and the giant is actually a massive problem indeed, and these frogs have actually quite long tongues. That may excite some of you. I know it excites myself. Because these things just whip you so hard. Now, as you can see, they have dropped some things. Now they dropped green bloom, or green blossom anyway. Now, green blossom has a very special nature. It's one of the few items in the game that actually increase your stamina recovery. It's uniquely bitter, biting herb that is harvested in large quantities and normally is an annual plant found near water. So this green weed actually will help us in the long run, but I don't think we'll ever use it too much. Now, there's a soul here, which the reason why I want to kill these people, but the reason why I don't want to go up, kill the giant, or sorry, the reason why I want to kill the giant is mainly because I want to go down that tunnel. Now that tunnel holds a ring. Now, a very special ring that holds actually something I really want. It's something I really want, but this giant stops me from getting it. Sadly, we cannot backstab the giant, which is very saddening. Oh god, that is not a good thing he's doing. That's not a good thing. Now, what he's done, he's made us encumbered as a special spell that only he can cast. You can cast it yourself later on, but it's such a pain in the ass. I mean, look, like that little circle around that stops us from doing anything. There we go, it's uncasted. Now, what he was doing napping on the floor, I don't know. Perhaps he was just sunbathing. I don't know why I would ever sunbathe in armor. To me, that just sounds uncomfortable. But I just think he's just an inanimate golem. Well, obviously inanimate, but you know what I mean. He's just a golem of some kind. And he drops on the floor. Now, they have a chance of dropping their shield and sword, which is something I would love to get my hands on, especially that shield of theirs. It's amazing. It's heavily magic resistant, too. So if I do manage to get their shield and sword, it'll be beautiful. But you can't get the armor off them. That is another job later on. But up here is in fact where I wanted to go. This is the whole purpose of this little trip. I could go fight a boss in a bit, but I don't really feel like fighting a boss. I feel like just getting... Oh, there's another giant. Wonderful. Let's just... So I've got a small chance of invincibility ever so sadly. Oh, great. Now you're making me unable to walk. So what I'm going to do to you is I'm just going to circle strafe. I'm also going to smack you in the arse. And you are probably going to hit me. No, you're very slow at hitting me. Thank God they're just stone golems. They're not actually anything of sentient intent. All I know is to really defend things and kill things! Oh god, okay. Ow, okay. You're hurting. You're hurting. Thank God I managed to kill you before you killed me. Thank God. But their shield and sword is a very rare drop. But this is the item I wanted all along. I wanted the wolf ring. Now the wolf ring is a very useful item, and it's one of the only items in the game that will actually boost up your points. One of the special rings granted to one of the 4 Knights of Gwyn. The Wolf Rider belonged to Artorius the Beastwalker. Artorius had an unbendable will of steel, and unmatched with a greatsword. But he gives us extra poise. That little ring, at least it was given to us. So, what poise does is stops you from being staggered. Which is absolutely wonderful, if you ask me. I mean, stop being staggered is absolutely beautiful. It means you would never be interrupted in anything you do. Which is actually wonderful if you have, well, some type of magic casting abilities. Which I do not, ever so sadly. All I have is, well, good old stabby blade and a rusty shield. I should also find a better shield, actually. For now, I'll just equip that. I won't so worry about, you know, how the resistance are, even I should worry in a bit. But that's in a bit, not now. Because I am going to go fight the boss of this area. Now, the boss of this area, I wish I was different. Well, I mean, I wish I was different. I wish I had the power of electricity running through my veins. That, indeed, would be wonderful. But the first thing I really want to do is kill these giants. Because if I can kill them, there's to be a slight possibility I might be able to get their shield. Now, I just whiffed every attack because he had his invincibility standing up motions. I just quickly smack him in the arse while he's casting his spell. I should take off half his health, mind you. But he could probably take off half my health with a single blow. So luckily, it does not reduce our damage input. and increase his armor ever so slightly, that would be horrible, but luckily it just stops us from moving. It only lasts a few seconds, mind you, but still is enough. If you don't have a good enough shield, it can't absolutely maim you like that. Ow. God, luckily that extra poise stopped me from being staggered to do that final blow to him. And I believe there's also all types of nooks and crannies. Now, something broken back there is a planter man, and that plant man hasn't really seen me. He doesn't really see me, but you also notice 2 snakes. Now, those snakes are actually alive, and they will poison you. But they're defending a partisan. A partisan is a type of spear. Now, what I understand from the partisan is not a very good spear, mind you, but it's an upgrade of what we currently got. The partisan is a spear with a blade attached to it to a broad point, boosts long reach, and can slice. The wide range of a spear makes it adaptable to many situations. Its strength lies in its length, but in crowded quarters, this backfires, and the slices ricochet off the wall. So it's a bit of a slicing, thrusting spear. It's okay, I guess. It's not as good as the normal spear. Nothing I would use. It's the same and requires more, well, strength and dexterity just to use. Got a bit more durability. It's got actually less durability. Yeah, it's just... As I said, I don't know why people would use it. I guess it's a basic spear to use. But, yeah, that's just me, personally. Gotta be those who just live by it. It's like I live by an axe. An axe can solve so many issues. It can probably chop down these trees with no issue at all. In fact, that's something I should really invest in after I do what I want to do down here. Because there's another item I want. Now, this place is absolutely optional. You can absolutely avoid this place. And some people, I know, have never actually been to this place before. They completely skipped it. Because they never knew it existed. It's kind of strange, really. You would think to explore every nook and cranny. But there are those I know that actually didn't get the Crest of Artorias. There we go. So, once you kill them, their spell does wear off. It's ever so wonderful like that. And there's another person in that tree. They're ever so sneaky. They're ever so camouflaged. But it's just the snakeheads give them away. You'd think that, they would be like, oh, look, there's someone over there. Let's hide. Let's hide in this rubble, perhaps. But no, they want to hide in a tree. Don't really blame them too much. Stab it ever so wonderfully. Sadly, I was not locked on during that, so I couldn't get the full effectiveness of stabbing him in leg. Regarding how tall it is, you would think you would have absolutely massive armor on your legs. Oh, I forget, you can't dive roll. Oh. I forget it, when you got this little thing around you, you can't actually dive roll, which is a slight pain, really. But we've only got 1 giant left. Actually, we've got 2 giants. And they're guarding that. Actually, we've got more than 2 giants. We actually got these actual bushmen. I don't know what you would call these things. I really don't. I like calling them bushmen or some sort. Oh, I got the slow radius. I actually never knew it was actually avoidable. Alright, so, future reference, if I ever try to slow you, you just simply back away until you reach a wall and you hug that wall for the rest of eternity. And if he comes close to you, you obviously find, another wall. Oh, the aura persists around him. Right. That's interesting. Oh, there he goes. And there's another thing. I want to get rid of this thing before I fight the giants. Ow! Oh! How am I alive? How am I alive? Run away! Okay. Whew. Let's take a quick drink here. A drink gets rid of all your problems, trust me. I am out of healing potions. That actually isn't too good. Oh, God, okay. So I need to absolutely back away from here. Luckily, that person's into the wall. And then this bushman is trying to hit me. Now, I just need not to get hit once again. If I get hit, it's sure to bring my death. That is unless I use humanity, but I don't want to waste any more humanity. Humanity is kind of hard to get a hold of. Okay, I got too cocky. I agree. Yeah. God damn it. So what I'll do is I'm going to pause the video and I'll meet you back here. I'm not pausing, I do apologize about that. So I bet you're wondering, why aren't I buying the archway with all the giants and everything? It's mainly because this is a different recording session compared to last time. I was recording yesterday, the Friday, I think it was the 7th, I believe, and today it's currently the 8th. Now, I currently just woke up because I wanted to do some recording straight away, because I spent all last night just playing this game, and I managed to do a few things. When I'm in a few things, I basically decided, okay, I want to get my faith up, so I'm going to kill a few giants, and by killing a few giants, I managed to get a stone greatsword, and I managed to get a stone great shield. Both things are absolutely wonderful to have, and after I got those, you know, I was like, screw it. I'm going to, instead of getting this massive amount of faith, I'm going to get a massive amount of strength. So, I spent all evening getting souls. I have got 200,000 souls. So, I'm willing to put them all into strength. Now, I managed to calculate it to the point where I've got 40,000. I'm 30-odd thousand over the limit, mind you, but I plan on upgrading a few weapons later on, so it's not too bad that I have that amount. So, it may feel like I've done a lot of screen, but I really haven't. It's just me going over and over in one area just to get enough strength to wield a shield. Nothing more, nothing less. So don't fret. Nothing much will change aside from my massive amount of damage. Actually, if you look there, my damage and my resistances haven't actually been increased that much. Sure, the flame resistance has been increased by 18, 20, and all of that, and my main weapon damage is increased by what looks to be 7. See, it doesn't appear that much, does it? And the only thing it allows me to do is equip more weapons. I mean, is that wonderful? I'm not stuck with a general old shiny greatsword, well, normal longsword, I mean, called Harold. So, that's that, and I'm going to now upgrade it. So, confirm reinforcement? Yes! God, I'm now about 20 levels higher than I was before. So, with that, I can actually use a very specific great shield. The stone great shield. I have got many great shields, I've just got rid of them. I don't mean put them in my box, I mean literally just dropped them on the floor, because there's no need to have like 8 of these. That's how many I've got. You know, after all my killing, I do a little mathematic homework for all of you. Each giant is worth 600, and there's about 7 giants. I believe it's 7 giants. I think it's more 5 or 6. I think so. And then there's about 8 bushmen. That's worth 150 experience. Well, souls anyway. Now, if you calculate that up to how many runs I've done, then you get a massive cookie from me. So, that's how long I took to do that, and I have got a stone great shield. A stone great shield, a mossy round great shield used by the guardians of the Darkroot Garden. The Stone Knight is a creation of an ancient magic. This shield is imbued with the same power, also extremely heavy. That is extremely heavy. It is 20 weight. That is heavier than anything we've got. And we also got the, where is it? I just need to find it now. I've got the ever so beautiful, the ever so blunt, the ever so heavy stone greatsword. The Stone Knights who guard the Darkroot Garden wield this moss-covered greatsword. The same magic which is created the Stone Knights is imbued in this sword. Unleashes power by wielding it in 2 hands. So you know that ever so lovely ability they have where they slow you with a giant ring? You can do that to the enemies now. It's wonderful. I've never thought I'd really do it, but I'm most likely going to use this sword if I can actually carry it. It's got a lot of durability, but we're going to see what my carrying rate, and I don't want to put it in that slot, I want to put the shield in that slot. There we go. And I place that with a stone great shield. Oh, I got 2 of them, do I? Oh, I should have really got rid of 1. Oh well, we'll equip 1 for now. Now, the real question about all of this is... Oh, no, I didn't mean to decrypt it. I wanted to do that. There we go. What is my carrying capacity? Almost fully encumbered, and I'm not really wearing any heavy armor. All I'm wearing is a bunch of robes, a helmet, and a giant shield and a giant sword. Both covered in moss. Now, I have enough strength to actually wield this in 1 hand. But to be honest, I might not actually use this sword. Now, just to show all of you at home what the power of the great sword is, I'll go and show you down here. Because we're going to go down here anyway and fight the boss down here. So, let me just go and find some bush people. Now, these bush people, you might think they're slightly grass-shaped, yet man-shaped. Because they're clearly grass-man. Now, look at that. Just in 1 single swing. It was amazing. But I didn't want it to actually kill him instantly. I wasn't actually expecting it to absolutely insta-give everything into a giant mossy pulp. I just merely wanted to, well, slow him. With this newfound ability. Let's trigger this bushman here. Best just by going down here. He's now awakened. There he is. Now let's activate his ability. Oh, I don't think it works against them. I only think it works... Oh, no, it did work. Now they can't sprint. As you can see, they're forced to walk. They have to do the walk to walk, but now they're dead. Now this sword is amazing, but I'm not going to use it. Mainly because it is amazing. It's just way too heavy for what it's really worth right about now. It's worth... Look at the weight difference. It's 15 difference between this greatsword and this pokey sword that's slightly upgraded. And the only thing I really get is a bunch of magic damage and 40... Well, no, about 36 extra damage in physical. So I'm just going to stick with the longsword for now. So the real difference between that, I spent all night just to get the shield, basically, and use it. It's a nice, lovely shield. Doesn't do anything. It's a great shield, so you can actually whack people with it. Normal shields you can only parry, but this one you can be like, aha! It's a bit like a Spartan shield, really, if it was made of brass or bronze. I don't know what these Spartans made their shields out of. So now I can probably block everything this guy does. Also, this shield has 80 stability. I think let's try and block it. Look at that! Instead of doing a giant chunk of stamina, it's just an ever so slight bit of stamina. Sadly, I'm forced to use this sword, which, well, I'm forcing myself to use the sword, mainly because I don't want there to be a massive difference in damage. I could, really. I could just use the normal shield. Now, if he dropped another shield right there, or another sword, I'd be very angry. It took me actually a few attempts to actually get the sword from these people. And also, before I actually go through this archway, what I'll do is I will actually go up a bit. And I'll get what is regarded one of the most powerfulest armor in the game. It is actually actively argued in the Dark Souls community that the armor on a dead body that is guarded by these 2 giants and 4 grassmen, that is actually the best armor you can get, period. But that's really debatable, really, depending on what stats you're looking for. But it's just so light compared to his strength, it's just so amazing. Sadly, I've got a fat roll now because of his giant shield on my back. I mean, I'm sure everyone would get a giant fat roll if they got this shield attached to them. Okay, that hurt. You're not very nice, are you? No, you're not. Let's just keep slashing you in the arse. There we go. No slowing today. Slowing equals bad things. It also involves your kneecaps just being sliced out beneath you. I'm surprised you just fall to your ground, since it is your kneecaps just being absolutely sliced to hell. So, that's why this place is absolutely filled with golems. These stone golems, or stone giants, I forget what you call them, are actually all here just mainly for that piece of armor right there. I bet you're wondering, it must be made of the best bling in the world! Well, you're vaguely correct. I also need a heal. I'm actually getting a bit too cocky with my non-two-handedness. Right, what I mean that's right, I mean not wielding a shield. So come here. No, I don't want to fight you, mister. I want to fight your grass-like friend. Come here. Let's come over here, you know? You don't have to really do anything. I won't hurt. Look, Grassman, come over here, leave your big daddy over there, and I'll give you a dream that you will never ever forget. It'll be a dream that will last for eternity! Oh, better go backwards. Like I got a bit of reduced deflection damage just then. Now, the best thing about these people is all you have to do is just wait for them to absolutely whiff, and you can just unload into them. Now he only requires 2 hits to die. 1 hit and 2 hits. And there we go. He's going to collapse forward. Oh god, what did he drop? A stone greatsword. Yes. I also noticed that the stone greatsword in general is actually a very common drop compared to the shield. I think the difference between the great swords and the great shields is a massive one indeed. Now, I fought over his people. For what, I hear you ask? For this. Elite Knight Armor. Now, Elite Knight Armor, as I said, is considered one of the best armors in the game. Mainly because it's amazing stats. Like, but just generally, it is quite heavy, mind you. I mean, just look at the weight quantity to the armor quantity. Let's just go to the dingy robe here. That's 3, and this is 12. But the thing is this gets really good if you upgrade it with Titanite. And it all gets incredibly useful because it's just how light it is compared to actual armor later on. So, this is an armor of a nameless knight, perhaps an elite knight of Astora, based on the fire-warding Herrick symbol on its blue surcoat. Although he is loath to give up on his undead mission, he perished at the undead asylum and went hollow. So this is the armor of that guy. I don't know why his armor is here, even though he did die all the way back in the asylum. I don't know how he escaped, but this is his armor nevertheless. I guess he had a duplicate set of armor that's made of paper mache that he left all the way back at the undead asylum. Or it's just, this is his friend. I don't really know the story of why the elite armor is actually here, but either way, it's always a nice thing to have. Now, the real question is am I willing to wear this? Actually, what is my encumbrance right now? My encumbrance, my equipment load, is 33. So, what I might do is just equip the gauntlets. Now, the gauntlets are basically the same thing. Yeah, it's just the same thing, really. So, that is actually amazingly better. I'm going to equip the gauntlets, but I will not equip the main suit of armor. Now, that is amazing, those night legs, for the weight capacity they have. So let's equip them. But I will not give up my gargoyle helmet for anything. I mean, let's just wield it for a moment. I mean, like, this night helmet, it's a full helmet with a visor. Does it actually have, like, 2 giant pokey bits coming out of it? No, it doesn't. So it doesn't deserve it. And plus, this has a visor already. There's no type of fashion statement. Remember, it's always about what it looks like and what you look like. It's never about the actual protection it gives you or the weight capacity. It's about the message you give. If you see this guy in a robe and, like, armored legs and helmet, you're fear for your life. I mean, actually, I look kind of spiffy, really. I mean, at least no one's going for my kneecaps. But someone can always go for my torso, which is the reason why I got this giant shield. To compensate for the lack of armor I got on my torso. It's a giant message to indicate I am Mr. Fibbles. I am fancy, you are not. So up all the way here happens to be the boss of the area. This boss is actually a very unique boss that I wouldn't say was actually replicated in any of the other Soul games, which happen to be Demon Souls or Dark Souls 2. So let's show you it, shall we? It is the Moonlight butterfly. That butterfly up there that's flapping its glorious, elegant rings and submitting all its dust happens to be that. Now, the special thing about this shield in particular, it is heavily resistant to magic. Now, this Moonlight butterfly only submits magic. Now, this block bit, that is actually a massive reduction in damage it actually does. This thing hurts. But the whole thing right now is you need to kind of dodge everything it does and just wait for it to exhaust itself. That's the main thing of this boss fight, really. You can dodge everything it does, but it's just the ability of being able to do so. Okay, what's he doing? Is he just... No, he's just going all out right now. He's angry. He's absolutely angry that I've interrupted his sleep. All the clanking of his armor is absolutely perturbed him. Perturbed him? I don't think that's actually a word. Well, no, I don't think it's... Oh, God, Beam of Death. You can block that. I mean, you can dodge it, I mean. But I would never advise anyone really dodging it. It's just more... Just block it with an amazing shield of yours. What is his tail doing? I should really have a drink soon, but I don't want to drink just yet. I want to get a good old bit of damage on, and then I will do it. Now, when I first fought this boss, I thought, oh, it's just going to stay up there forever. No, you just have to wait. If you wait enough, you can just absolutely shiv it a lot. Just absolutely cut off his horn, and give it a good old cut. Now it's doing that. When it does that, there's a massive explosion that is designed to eradicate all life on Earth. But right now, we got almost all of its health gone. That's boss fight in general. You just need to wait. Just wait for it to do its shiny beams of absolutely happiness doom type thing. I mean, look how bright it is. Look how shiny it is. It's like absolutely wonderful. I mean, wouldn't you want to jump into that ever so bright, ever so elegantly emerald-like color beams of absolutely eradicatingly soul-rendering magic? I mean, I would. But the whole thing right now is you just need to let his elegant self just tire itself out. I mean, it's ever so pretty. I mean, look at that horn. Plus, those wings are massive. I'm surprised it doesn't clip on more things, really. I'm surprised it actually has some awareness. I mean, where are its eyes? If you know where these things' eyes are, let me know, because I have no bloody clue in the slightest. He just loves to elegantly fly around, and also the music itself also speaks of this beast's elegance. Just it looks like a deformed unicorn, I'm gonna be honest. Aha! It's stabbing time! So we just need to just keep... Oh god, that's fast. Let's see if we can jump out. We can. Okay, so the lower health he has, it means I'm not gonna shiv him as quickly, or as, well, valiantly as I did before. What's that? Is that a beam of death? That is a beam of death. Am I able to dodge it? I am able to dodge it. Okay. What's that? That's just a general spikes of absolute death. Now, if I didn't have his shield, I wouldn't be able to reduce 40% of his damage, because I believe the spider shield, was my best magic shield, actually only blocked about 30-40% of this. So I would be absolutely mauled. That's one of the main reasons why I either wanted lightning or this shield. Fantastic was able to dodge it again. And lightning, it managed to, well, I can actually kill this butterfly from a massive range, and not just wait for it to be come down and have a little nap while violently shivered in the head. Are you gonna come and take a nap, or are you gonna continue floating about? I think he's gonna continue floating about for the time being. There we go. So you're still gonna keep flying, are you? Oh, now you're gonna take a nap. And I think this might be a permanent nap of yours. Good night, little butterfly. I loved you severely. Good night. So we got the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly. The soul of the Moonlight Butterfly is an interesting one. And we've also got a piece of humanity. And the soul itself, if I just go down here and have a little bit of a look. I also deposited a lot of my my moss and blood clumps and all of that. I originally had about a massive number of them, but I actually just put them into my box for the time being and get them when I actually do need them. So the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly is the soul of the mystical Moonlight Butterfly, which flutters, I want to say it, in the Darkroot Garden. Special beings have special souls. This butterfly's soul is a creation of Seif the Scaleless. So that can be created to make one of two weapons. Those two weapons happen to be, I believe it's a shield that has a magical ability on it, or a magical spear, which is basically its horn. You literally just ripped off its horn and just stabbing people with it. It sounds amazing, does it not? But sadly, it is not as amazing as it seems. Those two weapons are not as good as they seem at the point of the game where you get to create them. You sadly cannot create them now. You have to wait until you find a very, very unique blacksmith. To find this blacksmith is it's not that hard, it's just more getting to him. Now, we killed the butterfly, we went all this way, but what for? Why did we go all of this way? Well, we went all of this way to, in fact, go up these ever so crooked stairs, go into this absolutely dilapidated building, to find this guy. Now, this guy was a former smith, but he seems to have been petrified. He seems to have been turned to stone by the butterfly himself. I can only imagine the butterfly came in a furious rage, ripped off the top of his building, and came down and showered his blacksmith and soothed his heart with the absolute elegance and beauty of it. And he couldn't cope with it. His heart turned to stone, and his heart turned to stone, he just could not function. And then he turned to stone. That's my story of it. He could have just came in, and basically a load of things just came in and shifted him a lot, and then eventually he was just so, well, maimed and all of that, and they decided to turn him to stone. It's one or the other, really. I like to think of my original story. It has an elegance to it. It has a certain tang to it. A nice type of tang. Not one of those awful tasting tangs. But anyway, let's see what he's got in his hands, what he died for. A watchtower basement key, and a divine ember, and also a homeward bone. I guess we just took a bone out of his, and it's slightly magical. So we got a divine ember. Now, divine ember, where is a divine ember? It's under a key, isn't it? Yes. It's a divine ember. An ember required for weapon assumption. Divine embers are property of the Sturge and intended for divine blacksmiths. I send a +5 weapon to the divine, and you can be only reinforced to +5. Divine weapons are for undead hunting, used against undead and pawns of necromancers. Now, this ember is absolutely needed. I personally think it's needed. You may not think it's needed, but it's a very useful ember indeed. This is given to I believe it's given to the guy that we did. The person is similar to this guy, but looks a bit more like a hedgehog and kind of living. Sadly, we cannot break him. I would like to put him out of misery, but sadly we can't. There's no way to revive him. He's just permanently stuck into a statue on the top of this ruined statue. Statue? Building. One of those two things, anyway. So, we done all of that. Now, we could use a homeward bone just to get out of his place, and in fact, that's actually sounding awfully appealing. And we also got a lot of souls. And I mean, that's a lot of souls. So, where's the homeward bone? I don't have a homeward bone actually in my inventory right now, so let's go over here and use that homeward bone. I could save it, but I don't really feel like saving it right now. Yes, use it to rest the bonfire. What this does is, it immediately takes you away. It takes you away to the bonfire last at. Now, what I could do is just level myself up completely. What I mean, that'd be to give myself a few more levels in faith and go my original goal. But, yeah, I don't really feel like doing that right now. It does require a lot of points to do so. What I'm going to do, in fact, is put some points in endurance to increase my equipment load. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like the best idea to me. And I'll probably do another grinding session later on to boost up my faith. That sounds absolutely fantastic to me. So there we go, I just need to find actually a better group of monsters to actually kill over and over again. Now, I could have spent those souls to get the Crest of Artorias, but that's something I don't need to worry about for a very, very long time. And sadly, all these plants are back up again, as we have Grassman runs here. It's absolutely coming at me with nothing more than a sense of, well, demise in his back. But sadly, he's nothing more than, well, a pile of moss. Well, it's more like a pile of weeds and just cut up. If anyone saw him once more, people would think, oh, it's just nothing more than a bunch of cut reeds. Someone like a lawnmower came by nearby. But sadly, this man might... Actually, no, he's not going to be chucked off the edge. They normally get chucked off the edge right about here. I'm actually going to fight a very interesting individual right about now. What individual, here you ask? Well, it happens to be someone... A group of enemies that I've purposely avoided, all up to now, happens to be... like, all the way down here. Now, this is the edge of a cliff. If you look down there, you can see... well, the undead... well, I think it's undead parish, I believe it is. Because you can see one of the towers. And down here is a bomb drop into a massive, massive, well, cliff face, ravine type thing. I think this takes you all the way down. Actually, I'm trying to guess what's all the way down there. Ah, that's the Valley of the Drakes. You can tell because you can see the bridge. I mean, what else is that bridge going to simplify other than the Valley of the Drakes itself? We're in the Darkroot Basin. Or Bastion. I mean, I think it's a basin, actually. We should really go over the first thing I said. Now, somewhere around here, I could have possibly missed it. Aha! That's the thing I wanted! That is a Titanite bug. Sadly, I was not here in time to actually kill it. The Titanite bugs, they drop certain Titanites. And it can be useful. It's just really lessens the load of actually needing to grind for Titanite to actually upgrade a few weapons. But either way, it's actually wonderful to kill every now and then. Now, you can either take the route down, or you can go across here and actually loot this body. Now, this body has leather armor and a longbow. It has feather arrows, which feather arrows are incredibly hard to get a hold of, because it's hard to actually get a hold of feathers, really. Red feather arrows of the Lord's hunters. Their long range makes them effective for sniping. So, basically, the arrows allow them to have more flight. You may think, well, aren't these feathers? No, they're kind of like metal plating. I know they're probably feathers, but I'm just going with that for the time being. So, also should identify a few of the items I actually absolutely forgot to identify, which happens to be the leather armor indeed. Leather armor is very, very basic. It's light for its worth, but it's not as good as the armor I had before, like the Wondrous gear or anything like that. The leather armor is made of soft leather. It's a common type of protective gear. I believe this is one of the starter items. I believe it is. But this armor is not really good for anything at all. It doesn't even give you a hat. I mean, what type of heresy is this? No type of hat? But also got a longbow. I guess that's kind of good, I guess. A longbow is a longbow projectile weapon for experienced hunters. We could have got a short bow earlier, but I don't think you can actually buy a longbow. This is the only way you can actually get a longbow in this game, which is actually kind of interesting. So I also got a key. Now, this key happens to be the Watchtower basement key. So, the basement of the Watchtower forms a stone cell. There are rumors of a hero turned hollow, who was locked away by a dear friend for his own good, of course. So we need to find the Watchtower and go, well, free that person. Hopefully we can talk some sense into him. Even though he is hollow, I'm sure he's not hollow. It's just a rumor, you know? As well, rumors never tell the full truth. They normally tell the truth, but never... It's always twisted as, you know, the rumors go on to person, you know what I mean? We also got the New Alondo ruins that I actually forgot to read this, which is the ruins of New Alondo were blocked off for the ancient ghost, pose a danger to life and spirits. Legends speak of a terrible dark, which was sealed away. So that's the whole reason why I was flooded in the first place. Now let's jump down here. We did take a bit of fall damage, mainly because our heavy amount of encumbrance. The more encumbered you are, the more fall damage you take. Which is actually a very interesting system, I must admit. Now the creature I was talking about happens to be round here. Now this, again, is actually optional. it's actually easily dodgeable half the time. I actually know a few people, like I said before with the whole thing, that actually dodged it. Now, this is a very unique enemy. Now, I didn't want to plan on fighting these people yet, mainly because they have a very unique drop and they only die once. Once you kill them, they never come back. They have a lot of health, mind you, but we shall slay this person nevertheless and hope for the best that we actually get something from this person. Because there's a very high chance that we don't get anything. Now, these people are renowned for holding some of the best weapons in the game for strength players. But mind you, that's for strength anyway. Now, these weapons are amazing. Now, these are Black Knights. Black Knights are very limited, but they are very powerful. I could have fought one in the very beginning of the game in Undeadburg. Hopefully I don't kick him off the edge. I did. Oh, God, oh, thank God I actually gave me it. I was actually getting really worried just then. I wouldn't get it. But what I'm actually going to do, I know of an actual cunning plan of getting whatever someone throws off the edge. And I'm just hoping I actually do this thing and they come back. But before I do that, let's have a look at this grass crest shield. There we go. So, the grass crest shield, an old medium shield of unknown origin. The grass crest is slightly imbued with magic, which increases stamina recovery. Now, that in itself is a very, very useful thing. Now, most people love this shield. Some people actually just make it a main normal shield for the stamina recovery. Very few items in this game actually give you stamina recovery. And it increases your stamina recovery by a massive load. But anyway, I'll be right back. I'm just going to check if that person did actually drop something before. The way you do this is you turn off the game and load it back up. And if they did drop something, it just merely puts it where, or like on the ledge he died on. So I'm just going to check that quickly. But sadly, he did not drop anything. He just merely falled off the edge and just gave me a blue titanite chunk. The blue titanite chunk just happened to be nice. It just reinforces magical weapons and enchanted weapons. So that's always nice. A chunk is better than a large shard. So that's something always to keep in mind. Chunks are incredibly hard to get a hold of. Very limited, and I don't know an enemy that drops the special coloured chunks anyway. So that's that. And sadly, we did not get his shield, nor his wonderful halberd, so we would not be able to get his lovely, lovely halberd ever. So, there's this cave, which takes us to the Valley of the Drakes, which is somewhere which is you have no import to go to. There's no reason to go to the Valley of the Drakes, other than one specific reason. And that reason happens to be, well, technically two reasons. One happens to be go to Blighttown, well, skip Blighttown, and another one happens to be, well, grinding dragon scales. They have the most rarest chance of dropping an item in the game, which happens to be, I think it's like a 1 in 50 chance or 1 in 100 chance of actually dropping a dragon scale. And dragon scales are rare, and no one ever does it. I am the only person I've known to actually grind dragon scales there, because it takes hours upon hours to do so. It is a long time. Very monotonous as well. I would never recommend it upon anyone. Now, the watchtower happens to be all the way there. We will actually go there right now. Why? Mainly because I can. Now, there's also evil that lurks down there. I have no real way of fighting the evil that lurks below. There's also crystal elementals. I don't want to fight crystal elementals, because crystal elementals are rough. I think one of them spotted me. Yes, one of them did indeed spot me. He's slowly wandering over here. Now we're going to fight the first crystal elemental. This is a lesser crystal elemental. But just look how shiny it is. It's a shame that there's not a miniature version I can carry around where I can take it around with me forever. Sadly, you can't kick a crystal elemental, and they take a lot of damage. But they also have no hands, which is very interesting to note, really. They can't really hug anyone, but they can do that. That in itself, I believe, does a heavy amount of actually magic damage. So even if you have a shield, it actually bypasses the shield entirely, and it pricks your feet a bit. Now, these things also do hurt. They're just nothing more than one giant diamond mass. And as you all know, diamond's incredibly hard. We could kind of presume it's heavy as gold or lead. But there we go. He just evaporates in a giant flash of goodness. they have a chance of dropping blue titanite, I believe. Don't hold me to that, because I am unsure on that. I believe it's either them or the greater versions of them. The greater versions of them are a lot difficult to kill. So this is, in fact, a doorway. I know I'm pointing at the obvious here, but a doorway that we can slightly look through. Now, you can probably see something through the doorway ever so slightly. That little stone thing. Now, in here is where the old friend that was locked away for his own good. Now, something I don't understand is how his old friend is managed to keep in there by this simple wooden door. You'll see what I mean. Let's open it up. There he is. Meet one of Havel's soldiers. This is a Havel Knight. People presume that this is Havel himself, but it's never really stated as such. This guy's got so much mystery around him that it's just not even funny anymore. Havel is a very lore-important person in this game. And we'll probably encounter more text and stuff about him. Now, him entirely, the thing that people fear from this guy is the mere fact that he actually doesn't have any real encumbrance problems. He's able to walk around, sprint, like he didn't even wear that armor. And that's what's so unique about these Havel Knights. There's only one of them in the entire game, but he has an item I want, item I desire, an item I need to survive. And it doesn't have to be anything he's wearing either. I'm just going to go outside for a moment. Just have a little bit of a drink. You know, he's such a nice bloke. Even though he is hollow, I don't think he's truly hollow, though, because he's letting me have a nice drink. He's very chivalrous. Ah, he's got a shield up now. Now, when he's got a shield up, what you can do is give him a good old backstab. Now, that knight armor is perhaps one of the best armors in the game. And it's something you never want to mess up with. You want to play the passive game of this guy, even though he does look like a giant onion. Well, a giant onion rock. Well, everyone who wears a lot of armor looks like a giant onion to me, but either way, it looks like a giant onion rock with many layers of rock. Aha! Backstab! I'm only going to hit this guy through backstabs. I do not want to hit this guy in the face. That is something I never want to do. Why? Because he has such reaction times. It's insane! Because if we ever wore that armor, or got a giant club he has, which happens to be like a giant, well, Tyrannosaurus tooth of some kind, it's like if we tried wielding that giant club in that armor, we'll just be absolutely hammered to the ground like it's some type of gravity boots, holding us down to a spaceship while we're doing some maintenance. But sadly, there's no spaceships in this game, and I don't think there ever will be spaceships. If there was a space Dark Souls, that would be amazing. Now, you just need to slightly stop confusing him. Now, you just want to do a good old swing, don't you? Oh, no, you just want to circle straight through me. No, you want to circle straight through me, apparently. Oh, no, he wants to wield one shield. Oh, you want to wield one shield? Oh. Oh, thank God I have this brilliant shield right here. If I didn't have this wonderful, ever so beautiful shield, I would be in the deepest of craps with this guy. Mainly because it's Havel, and that's what happens with Havel. Oh, God. Yeah, that's why you want to do the passive game and just do backstabs only. So, I think I'm just going to end the video, and we'll meet that guy once again. So, I'll begin the next video right by him. So, thank you for watching, and take care of yourselves.